Welcome back to Kindness Stories, where every tale reminds us that courage and compassion always win in the end. If you've ever been underestimated, bullied, or silenced, this story is for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, so you never miss another powerful story that proves kindness and strength can change everything. The hallway buzzed with excitement as students spilled out of classrooms. Voice is echoing off the lockers. It was Friday, and for many, that meant game day and the thrill of watching the cheerleaders at halftime. Among the squad, one girl stood out not just because of her graceful moves or fiery spirit, but because she had a past no one truly understood. Her name was Aria, fierce, athletic, and composed. She moved through the crowd with her head held high and her ponytail swinging behind her. She wasn't just a cheerleader, she was the captain. But behind that polished smile and flawless flips was a story few dared to ask about. Transferred from another district, Aria had only joined Roosevelt High 6 months ago. Rumors surrounded her arrival. Some said she'd been kicked out of her old school for fighting. Others whispered that she'd grown up in a rough neighborhood. Aria ignored them all. She didn't come to make friends. She came to start over. But there was one group who didn't like how she stood out. The popular crowd, particularly 3 girls who used to run the cheer squad before Aria took over, were not happy. Among them was Brielle, the former captain. Blonde, rich, and ruthless, Brielle wasn't used to being replaced, especially not by someone like Aria, someone who didn't care about social circles or designer bags. Brielle and her 2 shadows, Lexi and Jordan, watched Aria from afar, jealousy simmering beneath their glossy appearances. She thinks she owns this place, Lexi muttered one day as they leaned by the vending machine. She stole my spot, my routines, my team. Brielle snapped, arms folded. She needs a reminder of who really runs Roosevelt. That day, the trio started small whispered insults when Aria passed, purposely forgetting to include her in group texts, even misplacing her uniforms. Aria endured it all silently. She'd seen worse. These girls didn't scare her. But they weren't done. One crisp morning, as Aria walked into school wearing her varsity cheer jacket, the one she'd earned fair and square, Brielle stood waiting by the locker bay. The hallway was unusually packed. The crowd parted like waves. Students knew something was about to happen. Brielle approached Aria with a smile too sweet to be real. Nice jacket, she said, brushing her fingers against Aria's sleeve. Thanks, earn it. Aria replied coolly. Did you? Brielle's eyes narrowed. Funny, I don't remember someone like you being Roosevelt material. Aria blinked slowly. Someone like me? Brielle smirked. You know what I mean. Before Aria could reply, Brielle lunged forward and with one swift yank, wrenched Aria's cheer jacket off her shoulders. Gasps exploded around the hall. Aria stood frozen for a second in her tank top. Jacket balled in Brielle's fist. What are you going to do now? Brielle taunted, holding the jacket up like a trophy. Run to the principal. Cry in the bathroom? Aria said nothing. Then she took a single step forward. Her eyes locked on Brielle's. With the silence stretching across the hallway like a coiled spring, Aria moved in one smooth, graceful motion, spun on the ball of her foot and launched a roundhouse kick that sent Brielle stumbling back into the lockers with a loud clang. The jacket fell to the ground. Brielle collapsed into a sitting position, shocked, her eyes wide and mouth agape. Aria bent down slowly, picked up her jacket, and slipped it back on with calm dignity. Don't touch what you haven't earned, she said. The crowd was stunned. No one had seen it coming. No one expected the cheerleader to fight back. But Aria didn't just fight back, she did it with precision, with poise, with the strength of someone who'd fought far bigger battles. From that day on, everything changed. The story spread like wildfire. Aria's kick wasn't just a moment of revenge. It was a symbol, a stand, a silent scream for every student who had ever been bullied, silenced, or shamed. But this story doesn't end with a kick, because Aria knew fighting wasn't always the answer. It was what she did next that truly silenced the hall and earned her something much more powerful than fear, respect. Over the next weeks, Aria began organizing self-defense workshops for students, teaching anyone who wanted to learn. She turned her reputation into something positive. Instead of hiding her strength, she used it to lift others up. Even the teachers noticed. She's a leader, the principal remarked one day in a staff meeting, not just on the field. In life, Brielle, on the other hand, faced consequences not just from the school, but from her peers. Her followers drifted away. Her popularity faded. But more importantly, she learned something humility. One afternoon, Brielle showed up to one of Aria's workshops. No makeup, no entourage, just her. I want to learn, she said quietly. Aria looked at her for a long moment. Then let's begin, she replied. And just like that, kindness won again.